Mr. Jeff Davison, welcome to Nilambor TV. It is a community channel and it has a very strong voice for multiculturalism. Today, we all are waiting to hear from you. So, I'm Abdullah Rafiq, is your host today. So, Mr. Jeff, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good too, yeah. Nice to see you here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's fantastic.
Yeah, introduce yourself first.
Well, my name is Jeff Davison, and I'm running to be Calgary's next mayor.
What is your background like?
Well, I'm the current city councillor for Ward 6, so I've spent one term on city council. Before that, 20 years in energy and technology and film. And really am focused on how do we move our city forward? How do we become a much more thriving, dynamic, and affordable city that's inclusive to all?
Right. Okay. And let's talk about a little bit brief discussion about your manifestos, election manifestos.
Sure. Well, I think we've heard loud and clear from Calgarians, we need an economic recovery. We need jobs created. We want a safer and more inclusive city. And those are really the three capital foundations of what we're trying to do in this election.
Okay, very good. Nice to hear. Okay, now, we all know that Calgary is a beautiful city. If you are elected, this is very common perception. I told you other day, I remember that. Mm-hmm. If you are elected, I assume you won't forget the voters, your voters. What do you think?
Well, we hear a lot when politicians get elected that, they come around every 4 years at election time and that's when we see them. For me, I'm really interested in getting to know more Calgarians. I'm born and raised in the ward I represent, and only until I'm now running for mayor do you get to get out and meet a lot of new folks in the community. And we're committed to carrying that forward. It's one of the reasons why we plan to have a diversity and inclusion manager right in the mayor's office to make sure we stay connected to that grassroots community organization that helped get us here.
Yeah, and this is another on top of that, some people told me, whenever they heard about that you are coming to our TV, then one of my guy, he told me that, is there any way that City of Calgary can make a constituency office like ward office in the constituency? In that case, people will be more connected to their councillor. Right now, most of the cases, people doesn't know even councillor name. They know only the city mayor name. I know that. So, what is it?
Well, it's certainly something we've heard a lot about. Could we have constituency offices? But we also hear a lot about, we want to pay less tax.
Yeah.
And so our job is to really think about how do we stay connected to the community, but continue to reduce the operational cost on the taxpayer to do so.
Yeah, that is important. Yeah, I understand that part. Okay, now it's a bit a technical question, I would say.
Okay.
It seems to me that City of Calgary is expanding horizontally. I know it's making the City of Calgary more open, beautier, but the negative part of this horizontal expansion is the maintenance cost. Mm-hmm. Whenever it is very big cities, then the maintenance is already big. It's a maintenance cost is very high. So do you have any plan to turn this city into vertical development, like buildings in many places outside core downtown, like tall buildings outside core downtown?
Well, we're really focused on creating balance and how do we densify our inner city? It's one of the reasons I brought a notice of motion to say we need more people living downtown if our downtown is going to be successful.
Right.
Young people want a thriving downtown to live in. And I think that's what we've really got to create if we're going to have economic recovery in our downtown core, right? We want a place to live, work, and play. But it's going to be important that as people get older, they also value having a backyard. And so we have to really think about what is the balance we need to strike with new community growth, as well as densifying, some of the areas that we haven't yet touched, like the inner city, like transit-orientated development along the Green Line, for instance.
Okay, great. Nice answer. You are a smart guy. I assume.
If I was smart, we'd be switching jobs.
No problem. You will do it next time. Whenever you will be retired from mayor, then you might switch that job. Okay. There is a much talked issue about the connectivity between city of Calgary and the province and the Fed. So, what is your how do you address this type of issues? There must be a nice relationship between city and the province and the Fed.
Yeah.
What is your plan?
Well, first of all, priority one is getting alignment on city council and get council functioning again. We can't work with the other orders of government if we can't get along. And I think we've seen that over the past couple of years. For me, I might not like everything that's going on at the other orders of government. We might have challenges, but you need partnership, and you need somebody who can pick up the phone, not pick a fight on Twitter. Someone who can reach across party lines and say, look, there's a benefit that we need. How do we bring ourselves together, find a common goal, and then do the right thing for Calgarians? And I've tried to demonstrate that through my time on council. When we stood up a now $500 million a year film industry here, that was all part and parcel because the province came on board and helped us with the incentive program. When we talk about bringing new technology companies to Calgary, a lot of that push comes because we've got the province at the table with us. And so we need to not be needlessly antagonistic with the other orders of government. Yes, we might disagree on certain files, but we really have to think about where do we win together, what are the goals we can achieve together, and then affect those positive changes for Calgarians.
Okay, very good. And for movie, and also do you have just a question, it came to my mind right now. So, do you have any budget for this type of community channel, in city of Calgary? I know provincial government have some, but do you have any idea about city?
We haven't seen any local budgets come to us for local community outreach, but it's one of the things that we want to consider going forward. We know we need to change how we do engagement. We know we're not reaching the majority of Calgarians with engagement anymore. And I think we have to think about, in the last decade, Calgary has welcomed individuals from all over the globe, over 150 countries. There's now 120 languages spoken in Calgary. So we need to think about how do we involve grassroots organizations and communities to do better, more effective communication. And that's one of the challenges.
Yeah, that's great. So, Canada is a country is a beautiful country to live in. We know that. It is a visible, diverse cultural country. Still we hear about Islamophobia, which is not, fortunate, of course. So, what is your plan to try to remove Islamophobia from city of Calgary?
Well, I was at the Akram Joma Mosque earlier today talking during prayer service, and it's a big challenge, right?
Yeah.
There's no simple answer to it, but we have to think about how do I stop having conversations with you? I don't need to preach to the choir. We need to have broader conversations about what's going on in our community, all the way from the boardroom to the dinner table conversation. It's getting out and actioning some of these items and talking about it. And I always come back to the idea that I get that I'm the middle-aged white candidate running in this election, but racism is not welcome in our city. Period. Full stop. Right? Intolerance will not be tolerated. And so we have to think about how do we work together. And I believe Calgarians are much more alike than we are different. And so we need to not let these negative voices around us win.
Right. Yeah, you are a smart answer. I like it. Okay, now, this is very important in my view. We had a chance to organize a Winter Olympic. You know that because you are the city councillor. So, but it was rejected by the majority people through a plebiscite. We know that. But many people still think that the city of Calgary had not that much positive propaganda about that possible Winter Olympics. And so, we missed the bus of a lot of economic activities. Don't you think?
I completely agree. And I can tell you it was about $5.3 billion that we missed out on. I was one of the only councillors that stood up and said, I think this is something we should look at, for about $300 million worth of investment. And we have to think about it not as spending, as an investment. We would have unlocked $5.3 billion.
That's
and,
right.
We're now at a critical point where a lot of that aging winter infrastructure, the wind sport, the oval, all of these places that were originally built for the 1988 Olympics require significant capital. And the biggest challenge we have is we don't have the money to fix them. And so we need to think about new ways of being creative. Reinventing ourselves as a winter sports city is one thing we're looking at. Becoming an active city and encouraging more activation in terms of our young people getting involved in sport that will help us get there. But we need to show that we can be an active city again if we're going to unlock more investment dollars from other orders of government.
Okay, good, very good. Okay, so how would you address the fiscal balanced budget for the city of Calgary without increasing taxes for the time being due to COVID?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we've heard loud and clear from residents and businesses that we need to compete differently. In a world where capital, talent, everything's extremely mobile, we need to think about what is our value proposition and how do we reposition ourselves to be competitive, in particular in businesses. So one of the things I'm looking at is dropping the non-residential or your business tax rate, and then freezing individual property taxes for folks. We need to do better coming out of the pandemic. But what it does tell you is that if we want to maintain the level of services that we have to think about new revenue sources. Right. It's one of the reasons I'm so committed to our downtown recovery strategy. I'm committed to building new residential towers within the Rivers District. We're committed to transit-oriented development. It's those large-scale pockets that will allow us to uplift our revenue and offset the cost versus the tax.
Okay. Yeah, good plan. I got from your campaign things like recent poll shows like there will be a fight between Jeremy and Jyoti. I know polls doesn't work always. So what is your comment on it?
Well, Jeremy this morning, I think, admitted his campaign was in trouble, and I think effectively he's not our concern anymore. Okay. I think, he was right in saying this is a two-horse race. It is now between myself and Gondek. Okay. I would encourage everybody to look at the platforms. We have a very detailed website on what our plan is. Yeah. And I can't say that my competition has a vision. And I think what we need right now is a vision to move our city forward, grow jobs, grow our economy, and take care of all of those social issues that we're going to face along the way. Good. Don't believe the polls, I guess is what I'm saying. The interesting thing about polls is that polls are often put out by the people who pay for them. And they're there to tell you a certain story. Right. But we have to look a little bit broader. We have to think about who does the things they say they're going to do? Who has a proven track record of bringing people together and getting projects done?
Yeah. Okay. And according to your campaign team, Jyoti and Jeremy campaign supported by third-party advisors. Advertisers, third party. Say something about it. It came to me from your advertising campaign team, your campaign team.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now in terms of how do we finance elections. Yeah. And the question I have about it is that you've got Councillor Gondek being funded by $1.7 million of union boss money trying to buy her way into this election. Yeah. And then you've got Jeremy, who has nothing but support from the ultra-wealthy here in Calgary, also trying to buy off the election. And so I think, I represent everyday Calgarians. I'm here to be everybody's mayor. I've proven that with my track record over the last 4 years, and that's who funds me, is average Calgarians.
Oh, very good. Okay, finally, this is my last question. Would you think you are the best fit for the mayor candidate?
Well, I do think I'm the best fit.
I know this is
you know why? Because I think track record matters. And look, I'm born and raised in this city. I have 3 small children. Yeah. People come to Calgary for opportunity, right? And Calgary has always been a city of open doors and open opportunity. And I'm fighting to make sure my kids and your kids and all of our grandchildren have those same opportunities, only better.
Yeah, now you can say something about last word about Nilambor TV. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. I encourage everybody, do your homework. This is the most critical election in Calgary's history. And it's really important to get out and vote on October 18th. Yeah. My name is Jeff Davison, and I'm running to be your next mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.